Today, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind since deciding to start this podcast. And maybe it's on the minds of those of you watching this video version of the podcast. It's something I think we all face in different forms. And I want to address it head on and with full transparency because I believe being authentic in every aspect of this journey is so important. Well, except for the backdrop, because I really want to be outside today, but it's way too noisy for me to film. So I put this up to give it the atmosphere that I want. Hi, I'm your host, Elaine Lombardi, and I'm on a mission to empower you to reclaim your energy, boost resilience, and live a life full of purpose. Now, in each episode, I try to design it to guide you through the G.I.F.T.S method to unlock your true potential. And I've been sharing a lot about the G.I.F.T S method since publishing my book last month, and how powerful the 5 golden keys can be for personal transformation. And I deeply believe in what I'm teaching, and I see its impact in so many areas of my life and the men and women that I've coached in the past. But there's an aspect of my own journey that is still a work in progress. I'm still working through that. And that's my weight. I know some of you might look at me and wonder, how can she speak about transformation when she hasn't fully transformed herself physically? And that's a valid question. Because yes, I'm here talking about healing and empowerment, and yet I still struggle with my own challenges about weight and self-care. So in today's episode, I want to address that elephant in the room by pulling back the curtain, so to speak, and dive deeper into the key of self-love and care, which unlocks the powerful gift of acceptance. Now, just looking at me from the outside, I suspect that you wouldn't think I would be somebody that knows a lot about health or food or weight loss. But that couldn't be further from the truth. I've actually been trained as a certified health coach. I've studied nutrition, I've studied wellness and how the body responds to food and lifestyle choices. I've even had success in losing over 100 pounds. Yeah. That was me back in, I think it must have been 2004, 2005, something like that. But just because I've experienced success in the past doesn't mean the journey is over. Life happens, and sometimes we find ourselves back in places we thought we've moved on from. When I talk about acceptance, I'm not talking about settling for something that doesn't serve me. I'm talking about acceptance as a form of empowerment. It's about recognizing that I've still got issues, and being compassionate with myself about it is what I really need to be doing. It's about using that awareness to fuel the changes I know that I need to make. Self-love and care start with accepting not the things we want to change, but accepting ourselves as we are right now in this moment. And I want to be very clear when I say that acceptance has nothing to do with giving up, because it's actually through self-compassion that we gain the kind of clarity and strength we need to take action. Acknowledging that we are worth the effort to keep going, to keep stepping into the changes we realize that we need to make, not out of shame, but out of love, is a huge step. I'm still on my journey, and acknowledging that, I think, is the most important thing I can do. I can't afford to be complacent about this issue. And I've done that so much because it's something I don't want to talk about. I never talk about my weight. And that's because I never want to draw that kind of attention to me. Another thing I don't want to talk about, which I only mentioned very briefly in my book, is my bout with cancer 6 years ago. I don't talk about it because I never want to use it as an excuse. In my instance, for failing to live up to the health standards that I've spent a lot of time educating myself about. I went through quite a period of not believing the gurus that I had come to believe in so much because I got sick. It really kind of jarred things for me a little bit. You know, I've published a couple of small booklets and countless papers during my health coach Elaine years, and I'll probably make a separate podcast about it to talk about that phase of my life. But today's episode, I just want to acknowledge the fact that I'm not perfect. When I don't get things right, it bothers me. And maybe that's something I need to work through also. The reality is that I know as well as you do that healing, growth, and transformation aren't linear. And change doesn't happen overnight. Eating whole foods and staying consistent with it is how I lost that 100 pounds. And like I said, that was like 20 years ago. But more so than the food, I want to say the consistency over time, that mantra, consistency over time, is really what made all the difference. You know, I've been a work in progress my whole life. Personally, I've overcome some pretty hardcore, deeply ingrained limiting beliefs. The G.I.F.T.S method has been part of my life for a long time, but I only recently named the keys that I believe unlock the gifts for a fulfilling life. And I can attest to the fact that there is a ripple effect. But in order to be in that ripple, you've got to keep that wave-like momentum going. My relationship with my body, with my weight, is something I'm still working through. In order to catch any wave, you don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to be committed. You just need to care about the process. For me, it's about continuing to show up day after day with the intention of healing and growing. And there's an exercise in my book called mirror work. And for me, looking in the mirror has been one of the hardest aspects of my journey. And I think it's because the mirror doesn't always give us the reflection we want to be seeing for the effort maybe we've been putting into something as visual as our weight. It's superficial in that way. But the mirror work that I write about in my book goes beyond that. It goes a little deeper than that, and I highly recommend you try it. But for now, let me just say, if you're struggling with something in your own life, whether it's weight, relationships, or any challenge you're facing, I want you to know that you're not alone. We're all on this path together, and it's okay to still be working on ourselves. In fact, that's why the G.I.F.T.S method is so powerful. It's not a quick fix. It's a way of life that supports us through the ups and downs. It's a come as you are set of keys that you can use to unlock different parts of yourself, to discover all of your gifts in your own time and in your own way. So to anyone who's ever felt like you can't start until you fix yourself, I want to remind you that the journey itself is where the transformation begins. I'm still walking that path, and I'm proud to do it alongside all of you. Thank you for being here today and for allowing me to share not just the highs of this journey, but the real ongoing work that comes with it. And together we can embrace the gifts that are already within us and continue to move forward one step at a time. Now, before I wrap up, I have to address one more thing. For those of you that know me, you may have noticed that I haven't been coloring my hair lately. Well, I'm currently experimenting with what this going gray, aging gracefully thing is all about. And I'm still a little bit on the fence about it, but hey, being a woman who ages with a little wisdom and silver sprinkled in kind of appeals to me. I may change my mind next week or even tomorrow, but today, I'm okay with it. Thank you for tuning in to the G.I.F.T.S podcast. I'm truly grateful to be on this journey with all of you. And if you enjoyed today's episode, leave a comment and share it with someone who might need a little inspiration. Remember, the keys to transformation are already within you. Until next time, keep unlocking those gifts and empowering your journey.